Hi, good morning, my dear students. Once again, welcome back to the new episode of Social Science. I hope all are fine and take care. So, today I would like to focus on the third chapter of civics or political science. Third chapter of civics is the directive principles of state policy. The directive principles of state policy. Sometime first time you may be hearing this word, this title. Okay, so nothing to worry. This is very simple topic. I will explain it in simple method. Okay, so my dear students, once again welcome back to our new episode of political science or civics. Okay, now today let us focus on the third chapter of civics, that is the directive principles of state policy. Okay, in first and second chapters we studied about the constitution, the fundamental rights and the fundamental duties. Okay, and you have already done the assignments related to fundamental rights and duties. Okay, these fundamental rights and duties are the two sides of a coin. Both are very important. If we are doing our duties in the correct way, then only we are deserved to get the rights from the government, uh, government. Okay, that is guaranteed by the our Indian constitution, the biggest written constitution in the world. Okay, so we already studied that Indian constitution is the biggest written constitution and it is neither flexible nor rigid. Okay, when we look at the constitution of British or American, it is written. They can't change it, they can't amend it. Okay, what is written, it is written. Later they can't change any single words in that constitution. Whereas when we come to Indian constitution, according to the need of the time, according to the situation, according to the circumstances, okay, according to the need of the people, we can alter, we can change or modify certain rules and regulations in the constitution, but there should be majority support should be there. Okay, around 2 by 3 majority should be there to amend the constitution in the legislative assemblies, including parliament. Okay, and my dear students, today we are focusing on the directive principles of state policy. In constitution there is not only the rules and regulations, but it is also giving a guidance how a welfare state should be, how an ideal state should be. Here state means a nation. Okay, not the state what we are taking in our sense, that is in India we can see 28 states. That state is different. State has different meanings. When we go to science, there are three states of conditions, that is air, solid, liquid and gas. Okay, when we come to constitution, when we come to the political science or civics, here state means the whole nation. Okay, so it is the duty of the state to ensure, to provide basic living facilities to all the people, all the citizens of a country or a state. Okay, remember state means nation. In political sense, state means nation. Okay, so here directive principles of state policy. Directive principles of state policy means directive principles of the policy of the nation. Okay, constitution is applicable for all the states, not only one state. It is applicable to all the states as well as union territories. Okay, so our Indian constitution guarantees and it gives us guidance and it promotes certain directive principles of state policy. Okay, it is the head. When you look at the heading, you may confuse. What a very tough words. Okay, what a tough terminologies. It is very simple. Directive means giving guidance. Principles means ideas. Directive principles means giving some ideas or guidance of state policy, how a state, how a nation should be. Okay, how a welfare or a ideal country or nation should be. Okay, so for that our constitution, the eminent scholars of the members of the drafting committee of the Indian constitution, they have given us certain principles or ideologies to make the country, the state, a welfare, a number one, a ideal or a model nation. Okay, in the world, when we take the whole world, mainly three countries in the world are highly happiest according to research. They are Norway, Sweden, and Finland. Norway, Finland, and Sweden are the most happiest countries in the world. What is the reason is they don't have any enemies. There is no any neighboring countries are not enemies for them, and they are not spending a few money or a few penny for defense. Okay, all their income they are giving, they are distributing the monies, distributing for the welfare of the people, for health and education. Okay, whereas when we come to our India, we have big border, and always we are quarreling with our neighbors are attacking us, and in return we are also attacking them. So both A and X or Y, these countries are spending lot of money for defense. Okay, and in order to look after the soldiers, we are also spending lot of money. Okay, for purchasing modern weapons. Okay, so we are killing the human beings, both X or Y or Z. We are killing the human beings in the name of nation. So when we go to Sweden or Finland or Norway, people are very happy there. Okay, they are keeping good relationship with their neighboring countries. Okay, so they are not worried about their neighbors. They are, whatever money they are getting, the country is spending for health and education. So they are number one in health and education. Okay, so like that we want to convert our country also. Okay, so there should be a positive change in our society and in our thinking also. Okay, so for ensuring such a welfare state, our constitution has given us some certain guidelines. Okay, there are 11 guidelines are there to ensure a welfare state. First one is social justice, giving equality for all the people, whether male or female, black or white, rich or poor. Okay, giving equal justice for all, that is known as social justice. And it is, traditionally, due to some reasons, religious or traditional economic financial reasons or regional reasons, some minority groups may be very backward in many cases like education, occupation. Okay, so in order to bring them to the mainstream of the society, our constitution also provides some certain types of reservations, giving some certain consideration to some minority groups. Okay, so such a consideration is known as reservation. Okay, so when you are traveling in buses or trains, you can see some seats are reserved for special people. Okay, some seats are reserved for ladies only. Okay, and some seats are reserved for mother and baby, like that. And some seats are reserved for handicapped people and old people and physically handicapped people, blind people. Okay, like that, reservations are given to protect them, to consider them, or to bring them to the mainstream of the society. Okay, because they, even though they have their own personal problems, we want to bring them to the mainstream. We want to consider them as a human being. Okay, so first one is social justice. Okay, so our government has introduced many measures to bring social justice by giving reservation to needy people, giving ration systems to the needy people. Okay, many facilities are given by our government, and constructions of government schools. Okay, giving free and compulsory education for the children, those who are in between 6 and 14. These are also part of social justice. Okay, many people, rich people's children are studying in highly standard international schools, but those who are financially poor, they are not able to learn anything. So who will help them? So it is the duty of the citizen, it is the duty of the nation to help them. Okay, it is not their mistake. By birth they are born in a poor family, it is not their mistake. Okay, by unfortunately we born in a rich family, that is not our fortune. Okay, and we want to consider needy people also. Then only we can stable the society. Otherwise, many inequalities will be there. Okay, many problems will arise in the country. Okay, because of this problem, because of this inequalities, people are turning to terrorism, extremism. Okay, many people are fighting against the government because of these inequalities. Okay, so when we are reducing the inequalities, there will be high happiness and prosperity in the country. Okay, so that first one is social justice. I hope you understood the point. And the second one is social justice for weaker sections. Okay, those who are physically weaker, those who are financially or economically weaker. Okay, and those who are some traditional reasons, also some weaker sections are there in our country, so we want to consider them. Okay, we want to give some special care or special privilege or reservation to such people and community or group of people. Okay, next, third one is women and child welfare. You know, women and child are the most weaker section in our society physically, and many reasons. Okay, traditional reasons are there. Okay, so both, you know, both the male and female are the two sides of a coin. So okay, so we want to bring them, our sisters and our mothers. Okay, they are also part of our family. Okay, then only we will be happy. Okay, so there should be equality for both male and female. So uh, female also, girls also suffering a lot of problem in our society, so our government is giving lot of kinds of protection to them. Okay, and women and child welfare, for women, our government is giving nutritious food through what we say, through the primary education system. We call it as balawadi or anganwadi. Okay, and child welfare is also ensured by the government by giving free education in the preliminary classes before first standard. We call it as balawadi or anganwadi, and their government is also giving free nutritious food to the people. Okay, to the children. And the next one is labor welfare. Many different types of people are working in our country, and you know, in our country majority people are farmers, and the biggest occupation is farmer or agriculture in our country. And after agriculture, many majority people are working under railway in India. Majority people are working in railway. Okay, railway department. Okay, and they have also their own personal problems are there. Okay, their sometimes their income may be very less and their expense may be very high. Okay, and they have their own family issues, problems, illness, disease. Okay, they want to look after their parents, grandparents, children's education. Many financial problems are there. Sometimes accidents may happen, so during these times government want to give some kind of insurance to them, medical insurance. Okay, so in order to bring them to the main protect them, our government has introduced many systems like giving pensions and health insurance. Okay, and many other things are there, and giving scholarship to their children. Like that, many schemes are there. Okay, so that is about labor welfare. And many government institutions are giving free healthcare facilities through ESI, Employment Service Insurance. Okay, that you will be studying in later coming classes. ESI. Okay, ESI service. And the provident funds, PF, we call it as PF, Providence Fund. Okay, the labor want to give some amount of his money income to deposit in the government, and the employer will also donate some, and the government also donate some amount, and after retirement or when he leave from the job, he will get a huge amount from that deposit. Okay, so this is to protect his family or his personal health and other things. Government is giving some financial help. Okay, this is also the part of the duty of the government regard towards the citizens. Okay, and aid to the helpless, construction of making of destitute homes, those who don't have homes, okay, giving free food, education, health care. These are also the duty of the government, okay. And then the sixth one is uniform civil code, okay, making a uniform civil code applicable to all the citizens irrespective of any religion or caste or any other politics, okay. Law is equal for all. And the seventh one is prohibition of liquor, prohibition of alcohol, and here liquor means all kinds of drugs. It is also the aim or the vision of the directive principles of state policy or the constitution, okay. Abolishment or banning of all types of drugs, maybe liquid or solid or many other types, many drugs are there in our society, and because of this problem many societies are suffering, okay. Their families are under problem, and due to this problem many families has broken, okay. So it is a big issue, big problem. We want to eradicate this from our society, okay. Alcoholism is a what we say, it is a big challenge to our Indian society, okay. And the eighth one is agriculture, giving importance to agriculture, help the farmers, giving free seeds and plants to or saplings to the farmers, okay, helping them and giving insurance when if there is a drought or a flood, okay, protecting them and keeping minimum standard price for the products what they are producing, okay. And ninth one is maintaining good environment, pollutionless environment, okay. There are different types of pollutions are there: noise pollution, water pollution, air pollution, okay, soil pollutions are there. So we want to reduce the rate of pollution by using less plastics, and many other methods are there, okay, by reusing, recycling and reproducing. These are the three methods to prevent pollution in our society, okay. And 10th one is protect monuments, historically important monuments, okay. We can see India is a traditional country. We have lot of religions and lot of old buildings also we can see. For example, we can see when we go to Ajanta and Ellora caves, we can see many old prehistoric caves, okay. Moreover, we can see seven wonders, one of the seven wonders of the world, Taj Mahal. Like that, many historically important buildings we can see, that is known as monuments. We want to protect them, okay, for coming generation, okay, to study about what they know. They should know what is India, okay. And the 10th one and 11th one is the last one is promoting international peace and security, okay, promoting security and peace. So these are the important 11 points guaranteed by our Indian constitution. I hope you understood this part, okay. Just to go through the chapter. Till then, take care, have a nice day. Thank you.